I'm just gonna go over the statement of work real quick. I know y'all all probably looked at it. I'm just reading through it again. Just to get started, so it's gonna be kind of boring, but I'll go through it fast. The contractor shall, so this is the general requirements, the contractor shall supply all materials, labor, tools, equipment, cranes, vehicles, supplies, incidentals, supervision, and safety measures necessary to complete the project in accordance with this statement of work. All work shall be performed in accordance with applicable occupational safety and health administration standards and the requirements outlined in this document. The Forest Service may supply upon request specialized measurement tools, survey grade GPS, total stations, auto levels for field verification, a tablet and or laptop for contractor reporting purposes. I'll be doing the reports, so y'all just give me what's going. I'll come meet with y'all, whoever gets it, and we'll meet a couple days a week and just get some updates, and I'll do the reporting for the CO. But Forest Service shall provide necessary administrative documents required for contract execution and compliance, including but not limited to contract daily diaries, notices of non-compliance, and other required contract documentation. Okay, now we're at the scope of work. The contractor shall furnish all labor, equipment, supervision, transportation, and incidentals necessary to identify, fell, remove, and dispose of designated hazard trees within approximately 65 acres of the Fullerton Lake Recreation Area. Hazard trees include down dead trees, standing dead trees, structurally compromised live trees identified as hazards. All delineated hazard trees within the developed recreation footprint, including campgrounds, parking areas, road corridors, trails, and day use areas, shall be mitigated to restore safe public access and administrative functionality following storm damage. Work includes felling and removal of hazard trees, limbing, bucking, and site cleanup, hauling and disposal of woody debris to a designated gravel pit located approximately 8.5 miles from the site. Stump grinding within the footprint of the campground. The intent of this contract is to eliminate known hazard conditions. Upon completion, the site shall be safe for public use and free of hazard trees within the defined project area. Locations: work will occur at Fullerton Lake Recreation Area on the Calcasieu Ranger District, Kisatchie Natural Forest near State Route LA 399. Project boundaries will be identified by maps and or flagging provided by the Forest Service. The contracting officer's representative, COR, will verify work limits prior to commencement. Hours of work and site conditions. Work shall be performed between the hours of 6:30 and 17:30 Monday through Friday unless otherwise approved by the COR. Site conditions include no portable water available, no toilet facilities available, no electrical power available. The contractor is responsible for providing all necessary support to safely perform the work under these conditions. Hazard tree identification: trees designated for removal will be marked or otherwise identified by the Forest Service. If any additional hazard trees are identified during operations, the contractor shall notify the COR for approval prior to removal. Tree felling and processing: all felling operations shall be conducted in a safe and controlled manner. Care shall be taken to avoid unnecessary damage to infrastructure, improvements, and vegetation not designated for removal. Trees shall be felled, limbed, and bucked as necessary for safe handling and transport. All slash and debris shall be removed from the developed recreation footprint unless otherwise directed. Hauling and disposal: all woody material shall be transported to and disposed of at a designated gravel pit located approximately 8.5 miles from the project site. Material shall be disposed of in a manner that does not create additional hazards or environmental damage. No debris shall be left within the recreation site unless approved by the COR. Stump treatment: stumps designated for treatment will be marked or otherwise identified by the Forest Service. All stumps within the developed recreation footprint shall be ground to flush with grade not to exceed 2 inches above surrounding ground surface. Grinding shall be spread, removed, or otherwise treated as directed by the COR. Final conditions shall not present tripping hazard or impede site usability. Safety requirements: the contractor shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local safety regulations, including but not limited to 29 CFR 1910 Occupational Safety and Health Standard, 29 CFR 1910.266 Logging Operations, Forest Service Manual FSM 6700 Safety and Health Program. The contractor shall ensure all personnel are trained and qualified, utilize appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, establish and maintain safe work zone exclusion areas, conduct daily job hazard analysis, Protect the public workers and adjacent properties at all times. Environmental protection. Operators shall minimize disturbance to soil, water, and residual vegetation. Equipment shall remain within designated work areas unless otherwise approved. The contractor shall prevent and control spills of fuel, oil, or hazardous materials and report any incidents immediately. All work shall comply with the applicable environmental regulations and Forest Service direction. Performance standards. All designated hazard trees shall be removed or mitigated. No hazard trees shall remain within striking distance of developed infrastructure or use areas. The recreation site shall be left in clean, safe, and usable condition. No avoidable damage shall occur to roads, campsites, utilities, or other improvements. All work shall meet applicable safety and technical requirements. Inspection and acceptance. The CR will monitor work progress and compliance. The contractor shall coordinate with the CR for required inspections. Final acceptance will occur when all hazard trees have been removed, debris has been treated as specified, the site meets safety and usability standards. Measurement and payment. Payment will be made as a single lump sum for completion of all work described in this contract. The lump sum price shall include costs for labor, equipment, supervision, felling and limbing, processing, hauling, and disposal, stump grinding, site cleanup, all incidentals necessary to complete the work. No separate payment will be made for individual components of the work. Period of performance. Work will be completed within 60 calendar days from notice to proceed, NTP, or as otherwise specified in the contract. Products, government furnished property, / products, none. Government contractor furnished property / products, none. Then you have some authorities. Forest Service Manual, FSM 2330, Recreation Management. Forest Service Manual, FSM 6700, Safety and Health Program. 29 CFR 1910, Occupational Safety and Health Standards. 29 CFR 1910.266, Logging Operations. 36 CFR 261.3, Prohibitions. The authorities require the identification and mitigation of hazards within the developed recreation site to ensure safe conditions for public use and reduce agency liability. Contracting officer representative, the CR be designated by the contracting officer and is responsible for technical oversight, inspection, and acceptance of work. The CR does not have the authority to modify the contract terms. Special considerations. Work may occur in areas open to the public. The contractor shall ensure public safety at all times. Temporary closures of traffic control may be required. Emergency access shall be maintained unless otherwise approved. And then we have the two maps showing the project area. The boundary for this area, it's 65 acres and it's marked with orange flagging. So those trees you saw coming in with the orange flagging, that is the boundary. So the road is the southern end of the northern boundary. And then you get to that bridge, and then it starts a shared boundary with the southern unit. And then the boundary for the north follows, and the southern unit, and the south unit, they keep sharing the boundary in that L, and it follows that little gravel road on the right when y'all came in. So, that's the project area. So, I have a KMZ of the project areas. I can send to people. You can use it on Google Earth for free. You just upload it there, and then you can make a geofence. That's probably the best way to do it because there is flagging, but sometimes it's hard to see. Then there's also heritage resources in this area. There's some old foundations, concrete home places. This used to be a sawmill town, and there's concrete. You can see some of the pillars out there. I mean, there's several structures in here off that gravel road. From that gravel road, there's an old pool. That's still, it's got trees growing in and stuff, but it's a big hole in the ground. So just be aware of that. I plan on trying to get points for those areas. So when the contract's awarded, I'll provide those points so you can avoid that area. Be aware of what's in the area because they can seriously tear some equipment if you get on one of those big concrete pilings or something. But also, is everybody here a licensed arborist with the state? Licensed, insured? Okay, that's going to be a thing because since we are doing arborist work and we don't want the state coming in here issuing any stop orders or anything for our work because I used to do that for the state, so please don't stone me or anything. But I know how it can be. But so we wanted to make that clear. Then anything else you got, Brad? So
Brad Cooper, I'm the right now acting staff officer over lands and engineering. So I guess I drew that short straw to be head over this project, help make sure it happens. Ultimately, most emphasis is going to be on the campground here. You know, as you feather away from the campground, less emphasis. You'll see that. You know, the safety, and so the next phase of the project down the road is going to be to redevelop this campground. So that's why we need to get this done. And then there's a trail right over here. So public access, right? That's what we're trying to make it safe and enjoyable for public access. So just keep that in mind. This is not a traditional contract for us. A lot of this stuff we'd be doing in-house. It's just a lot more than we can handle with the manpower we have. So that's why it's a little clunky for us. We're trying to build the bicycle while we're riding it. Statement of work, we did the best we could until we got out here, and then there was some stuff that we're seeing and developing as we go. So we want to make sure that we'll capture that. We will get to some of the questions that's been asked about mulching and anything else that comes up. In fact, I'll just go ahead and answer that now. Mulching is only going to be allowed if you want it to, so just factor that into your cost. We're not going to be able to mulch it. We just don't have the manpower. The only people we have is fire folks, and right now with the fire season we've had, we don't want to commit to being able to mulch it. That starting right over there, there's a big open area that's on the northwest side of the campground. Is a frickin' briar patch like I've never seen. I mean, you can still see the scars I have to prove I tried to walk through that crap. So getting to those snags, it's really just the dead trees. That's mostly what's out there. You may want to mulch to get to some of those. That's the only area we're concerned about mulching. It's up to you how you want to get to those trees. You know, so just factor that into your costs. Once you come around to the end of the campground loop, that's where I don't think you would need mulching, and we don't want mulching. Because outside of that area, we really don't want to risk A, hitting any historic structures, B, damage to your equipment. So, you know, but that area is clear. We know there's not much in terms of structures out there. There's no historical issues there. So that would be a clear and easy place. One thing that hadn't been talked about much was these logs, which do create a safety issue for us along the bank. You know, they can be removed. So they aren't marked, you know, but they could definitely be removed if you can remove them safely without damaging the shoreline. So that's kind of be the key, right? If you think you can remove them, that's great. If you don't think that you could remove them, it's not the end of the project for us. And then lastly, we tried designating as much as we could. Again, there's some areas that we just couldn't get to. We didn't designate. We tallied them. We know those numbers. Did you guys get the numbers from the tally of there's a rough numbers, right? Did the best we could. The stumps are all designated. I don't want to, you know, go back on my word, but I would say I think we got every stump that we wanted removed, designated, so we were able to access them.
Along the road as well.
Yes.
Not just there, like we say campground, that's all the way going all the way to the road.
What was that number? I got that number.
It was, think it was
67 stumps.
197, I think.
Yeah, 167.
167.
The 80 trees that we're removing, the stumps on those aren't being ground?
So
If they're in the campground.
these are the numbers. Standing dead hazard trees or snags, 72. Standing live hazard trees, 8. Stumps for grinding, 167. Downed logs, about 300. Again, we didn't designate those. We didn't paint them. It's just, you know, mostly what's impeding right along the road, right along the campground, you know, for the down log stuff. We're not going to have you chasing off out in the middle of the woods, chasing for a log It's mainly what you can see from wherever you are. You know what I'm saying?
Following up on his question, the trees we cut, you want those stumps ground also?
I would say if they're, if it's visual and you're from the road or in the campground or adjacent to the campground, yes. So anything that's, if it's one of those snags like way over here on this north end, this northwest side, the snags 150 feet from the road or 100 from the road, I wouldn't say you need to do those.
What is the beautification corridor? It's how many feet off the road?
Say again?
The beautification corridor?
Ooh, I have to look that up. I'm off the top of my head.
Okay.
I would
think
say
it's like
30 or 50.
It's 50 to 100 depending on the location. That is what I would
Okay.
use for your measurement to determine if the stumps need to be ground or not.
Well, like this tree right there,
Yeah.
could be taken out.
I'm pretty sure we marked it.
Yeah,
Or
it's
removal.
small.
It's removable, but you want that ground?
If you can safely operate it and ground it, yes. Again, it's gonna come back to it, you know, there's some give and take here. If your equipment can't safely ground that because you're worried about it, it's right on the edge.
If I'm the COR on this, and if
Yeah.
you're awarded this contract, I'll be your main point of contact. And if there's anything questionable, y'all would contact me and I'd come out and we'd make that determination. Whether it's a tree you're like, we didn't mark, or like, oh, this one is, something's wrong with this one, I think it's gonna, or like that. Like, you know, if you can't get something safely, or y'all feel comfortable doing it, just let me know and I'll push up the chain. So,
Yeah, we already talked about that. He's probably gonna spend a fair amount of time out here doing this
I'm gonna be out
project.
here with them, but try to get out here 2 days a week. I have other responsibilities, but you know, but I always got my phone on me. You can send me a picture or whatever. So we'll figure out a way. But like I said, I'll be. I mean, you can get hold to me. So for that kind of stuff.
So as long as the trees are, like you said, if they're far enough away from the road and the stump wouldn't be really visible, just do the best we can.
How far off the road are we cutting dead trees? Cause I mean, a lot of them, as you ride, you can see X's on some of them, and 100 yards out there, there's no
Well,
X's.
it's in that 65 acres.
So everything within the 65?
Yes, standing dead. Yes. But as far as stump grinding, that's what we got. We got the beautification. And so.
There's a lot more than 72 that are standing dead.
Yeah.
Like there's maybe 272 standing dead within the 65 acres.
Yeah.
So that, you bring up a good point. When we came out here and designated them, I guess we didn't talk about that. Those are the ones that were a hazard. So I don't think it would be all of them, Chance, because they're not a hazard.
Okay.
So I think we'd hinge to that. You know, there might be some of those far off. Some of these ones that are back here, they're close enough. They could get to a campsite. I think they're all going to go. There might be a little over 100, but even still, if we're going to develop on that side, you know, so it's probably going to be more than 72. But I don't think it's going to be the 200. We're not going to get all of them.
But that would be a decision made between the COR on site.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, is that gonna be a change order when you get it? Because I mean, if I'm gonna bid the 72, but then we turn around and well, we got 60 more to do.
I think you'd have to.
You know, I'd have
I think we'd have to if we go over that. And it's, you know, it's a process we can do.
Yeah, now go through the CO. Change or anything like that. Any modification to the contract, COR is not able to do, that has to go all the way to the CO.
Yep.
So before we start, are all of them that you're expecting to be cut gonna be marked? So there's,
All minus those handful that we couldn't get to that were in that tally. They were in that tally, so,
the
yeah.
handful are in that town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So,
I may have not read it, probably didn't. Is this site visit mandatory site visit or?
Is the site visit mandatory for the contract?
Yeah.
Or what do you mean?
today, you mean?
Are we
No,
bidding against just the people here or anybody? that
No, it's not
doesn't bid?
mandatory, no.
No, yeah,
Anybody can bid on it.
anybody
I
can
mean,
bid.
They can bid on it sight unseen.
Okay, I've asked them, cause I just had,
Yes.
I asked me. if I
No, that's a good question.
I'm like,
Yeah, no, there's no, we didn't make it mandatory.
okay, and the other thing, do you have a government estimate on it?
That's a Brad question, I don't know.
I don't think we had a government estimate because there was no, it's a funky contract, you know, and it's just not something we typically deal with.
So, any more questions?
One thing before I'm remiss, there's not a lot of them. They're in that, I think they might not be in that tally of stuff, but there's, I think, the, limbing. There is some limbing. Okay, limbing trees, 20 to 30.
Yeah.
So those are, marked with the polka dot, flagging. So you'll see those as well.
What are you expecting done, get the dead limbs out?
It would-
Raise the limbs up to a certain height?
Yeah, what we were looking at was those limbs that were 4 or bigger inches, 12 or longer feet, the ones that could be
Like,
a hazard to somebody standing underneath them. So it would mainly be the bigger limbs that are,
I mean, then off the road too, I mean, people, this is gonna be they're supposed to have full hookups here, aren't they, Brandon? That's the
Yeah.
plan. So people will bring in fifth wheels and things like that on the road. So, I mean, you're looking at that one right there, trying not to tear anybody's campers up. So we'll have to,
Typically, that's why we're that beautification.
yeah, that's why,
corridor.
yeah, yes.
Um,
I'll get those numbers, we'll get
In
those
certain
numbers.
areas, it's gonna be 50 feet, they'll have to get you guys the specifications on that, some areas it's gonna be a little bit more than 50 feet. But there is a specification that determines how far back those have to be removed,
Yep.
and that should be referenced in the contract, it's in that, recreation reference that's in the contract.
okay.
Is there a reason y'all didn't lock that gun right there?
Yeah, I don't know, I noticed that when I pulled up too, I'll be honest. I was like, I don't know.
Human error.
Unless somebody was just walking around the other side of it and just was looking at it, I don't know. But yeah, it definitely needs that's one that needs to go. So, but, we ain't got any more questions. We're just gonna do a loop around the campground loop, kind of walk around, and I wanna show y'all a spot on the spillway over here, just so y'all know about it. And then we can take a few more questions or whatever y'all got.
Before we start, does the forestry department have a limit, like $2 million or $1 million general liability? And
Ooh, I'd have to look
workman's
that up.
comp,
I'd have to look that
$1
up.
million liability?
Yeah, that's
I think it's fair, don't fire, but they have 10 billion.
that's a CO question. Should we put the contract together? So,
Because we can't bid against people that don't have that, there's no way.
yeah.
I mean, you're talking about what you have to do with $100,000, $1 million liability for $10 million.
To be a licensed arborist, what do they require now, 25?
Yeah, we're changing the law next year to 500,000.
Well,
We don't have that answer, but she's got it captured and it'll get answered.
Yeah, that'd be CO. That'd go to the CO. So, for the
So she'll
insurance
post all the
departments.
answers to
That's
all
the,
this
the
stuff.
minimum's getting bumped to 500,000 for the state. The arborist light, get the state arborist light.
Strain's working on that now in
Yeah.
the Senate and the House.
Yeah, okay.
It's just too cheap.
Yeah, I remember it used to, when I was doing it, it was really low.
That means David, he'd be a butcher that can't do that.
I mean, you try to
The
go.
Louisiana Arborist Association is gonna check them. You gotta have workman's comp and proof that you pay premium.
Before the licensure, yeah.
And you can't get your license. Yes, they will. They got a report. The workman's comp will report it if it's canceled. And then your license.
Yeah.
I know, that's what's coming. They brought it up on themselves.
All right, fellas, you want to go?
And everybody signing the, sign-in sheet, right?
I'm used to it.
We're all good on the sign-in sheet?
Sure. Yeah, we'll look at the limbing.
Did you say walk to the spillway over there?
No, I'm talking about there's another one. Not that. No, sir. No, not all the way over there. No. And then the trail starts over here too. You can see they'll have it
Yeah, when
mowed.
we get back over here, we'll walk down that trail to that bridge.
It's not closed. It's closed for camping.
Close for camping, and that's been 5, 6 years, well, since Hurricane
So
Laura.
Brad, are we gonna, when they're in there working, are we just gonna close the whole thing to the public?
Yes, it will be entirely closed to the public when the work is going on.
Yeah, we're gonna close the gate. Y'all close the gate. So people come in here, they fish, they go walk around, but there's no camping in here right now. That's the only thing it's closed to.
Yeah, as soon as the contract term dates are, we have those contract term dates set, we'll make a post to the public, making sure everyone knows Cause it's daily. There are people in here daily, walking their
I
dogs,
got a
doing.
question for you, Carl.
Yeah,
The one on the backside, Mark. I mean, you got clear less than 3 or 4 inches. So is that a 1 or 2 foot?